Hey, how's it going? So we're gonna do something a little bit different today, other than just showing stuff I bought, because honestly, I can't keep up, man. I'm gonna show you my top 5 favorite albums of all motherfucking time. Well, I'm gonna show them in no particular order. Well, I'm probably gonna show them in alphabetical order, so I can put them back. First and foremost, an album by a band, and it was the first one I heard by them, but actually when I first heard it, I didn't like it. But I have definitely come around to it, to say the least. It is Autopsy's Mental Funeral. So I didn't really like this album for quite a while, but I kept coming back to it because, I loved Severed Survival, Macabre Eternal, the latest one, Blood, Ashes, Organs, you know the drill, I can't say the title. All the Autopsy albums I'd heard were just like so fucking good, so I kept on coming back to this one. Also because whenever I was watching some interview on YouTube with a true hit, this album always got brought up. I mean, the main reason why I didn't like it for a while is because it was just like too doomy for me, I think. Because doom is always a bit hit or miss for me. Like, I like some stuff. First Pagan Altar and the first Trouble album, I like those a lot. It's not really my forte. And this is like easily the most doomy of the Autopsy albums. I feel like but I guess like the later ones, they help like ease myself into it a little bit. Like there's this guy on YouTube called Mark G with a C. I sometimes will watch a video or two of his. And he always describes Autopsy's brand of death metal as filthy, dirty, and horrible. And gotta say, that's a perfect fucking description. Couldn't have said it better myself. Dude, this album just has like a life of its own, an atmosphere of its own, a feeling of just absolute disgust and just complete despair. Even like nodding along to the music feels fucking monotonous and like a strain on you. I don't know how to describe it, man. This album, it like sounds like it was recorded in like a deep dark cave, and it's just not polished at all, but it just fits the music so well. The drum sound on this is just perfect. I love how the drums sound on it. The bands take notes. This is what a good drum sound is. The part about this album that always like stuck out to me is like the song Bonesaw. It like comes right after like a really doomy cut on the album, and it just comes in and fucking smacks you right in the face and just ends as quickly and as abruptly as it like started. It feels like an unfinished track, but at the same time I really like it because it just fits the album and this like DIY kind of like feeling you have with this album, where there's gonna be mistakes and it's not gonna sound completely polished, but yet it just all fits the experience so well. Just like the pacing of the album is just perfect, and like all the death metal bits, they just feel twice as fast when it like comes right after like a really doomy passage. But there's like loads of variation on this album. It's like sometimes it slowly builds up to get some speed, and other times it just comes in very abruptly. It's just a filthy, slimy, disgusting album beyond description. I love it, and I think I've talked plenty about it and tried to put my thoughts into words. That's all you get. Next up, we've got the majestic and the glorious, still reigning victorious Immolation with Dawn of Possession. Dude, this album will always like have a special place in my heart, because when I first discovered this album, like I loved it from the moment I heard it. It just instantly clicked with me, and I just kept listening and listening to this album until I got to the point where I played it too much and I had to like put it off for a bit. But now it's of course back in the regular listening rotation. I play this one very regularly, and I mean, this is just death metal karaoke. I swear to God, man. Like Ross Dolan's vocals performance on this album is just completely out of this world, man. He sounds so fucking evil, and yet he sings with so much emotion on this album. And it's like his voice is in between like this raspy and guttural area, and it's just like the perfect fucking voice. He sounds so fucking evil on this album. Like the way the lyrics are written and arranged, it's just so fucking catchy, and it's just like every song is just a sing-along on this album. Production on this album just sounds like no other album I've ever heard. Like, I mean, it just has this completely unique sound, like the way the drums sound and the guitars, fucking Bob Vigner's just way of writing fucking riffs and solos that just sound absolutely like apocalyptic, like a day of reckoning is upon us. It just completely swallows you in this like dark atmosphere. Back cover looks a little bit empty and lame, I gotta say. Show the lyric sheet, which is like this plain background as well. And take a look at this. I've got the poser version on a purple. Wait, that actually doesn't look that bad on in this light. My camera actually makes it look a little bit redder. So it actually, if it was this color in real life, I think that it would be quite good. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with this purple vinyl, but yeah. I don't know, when I bought this album, like it didn't even say what color the vinyl was. So, you know, I had no idea what I was buying. And, you know, it was one of the first albums I bought naturally. So I had no idea what I was doing. I just wanted it. Wow, why did the sun go away? Like, see, this is why with these videos, the sun gone away now. Like, it looks like it's nighttime now. I guess I'll try out this. I don't know what the camera is doing, but yeah. I mean, my favorite tracks on this album, I would definitely have to say is Opener, Into Everlasting Fire, Internal Decadence. Gotta throw in No Forgiveness Without Bloodshed. Dude, that opening riff on that track, oh man, it's so fucking sick. I wish like that song, that's like a little bit of missed potential. I wish that song would come back to that riff, like near the end when he sings like the circle now is sealed, and it like comes back to it comes back around to the opening riff. That would have been so good. But yeah, I guess like it's always good when like an album leaves you wanting more, and that track definitely does that. So I mean, it's more of a compliment than it is a complaint. After My Prayers, definitely, but like Burial Ground, that's so... Dude, you know what, I take it back. But I don't have favorite tracks. All killer, no filler. Dude, like, even Immolation, like I made a post a while back where I said it doesn't like fit as a closer. But man, it's grown on me even more. Like, this album just keeps growing on me. I don't know what's going on, but like, I think it's a perfect closer. I really like it. It's really catchy and memorable. Like, even like standing apart from like all the other songs, which also just have some really catchy and memorable moments, you know, when it goes, heaven defied, Christ denied. Memorable as fuck, you know. All killer, no fucking filler. Closing thoughts. You wanna come in? Come on in. Well, I guess he doesn't want to come in, so I'll wrap this up. But yeah, it's just nothing but pure satanic brutality, just from beginning to end. Want to be in the video? All right, next up, I don't even think I have to introduce this one. I mean, you all know it's gonna be here. If you don't watch my goddamn channel. So it is, of course, Intestine Ballism with An Anatomy of the Beast. I mean, it just kind of gives me everything I want in music in one album. And in one cohesive fucking album. And nothing feels out of place. It just all feels very organic. The songs are just written so well. Every song is so memorable. And it's brutal. It's catchy. It's melodic. It's got those soaring solos, thrashy beats, black metal. And I'm not even that big on black metal. It's just like the best way I can describe this album is that it's an album about contrasts. There's the low and brooding death metal vocals versus the high and raspy black metal vocals. There's the like punishing brutal death and mixed with like soaring solos from like heavy metal. And like the title track also has that like almost like power metal riff at the beginning, you know. Seiji Kakasaki is just taking influences from everything he just likes and just somehow like cramps it all into this album and just makes it a cohesive experience. And I mean, it's just easily the most ambitious album I think I've ever heard, and it just succeeds at everything it's trying to do. I don't think I've shown this one. I've shown this CD a few times, but I don't think I've shown there's some extra pieces of art in the booklet here. An illustration of Anatomy of the Beast. This is some like unused art for something. There's one here with the gotta have the rotting Christ in there. I don't know why he's there and what song he I guess it's the Blasphemy Resurrected song, but like I don't know, love it, love the art. And we have like an illustration of Tyrant. I guess this is the cursed creations we are seeing here, I'm guessing. So yeah, still hunting for that vinyl. Intestine Ballism and Anatomy of the Beast. check it the fuck out if you don't know it. I'm just saying, you're missing the fuck out if you don't know this one. Next up, an album I actually heard first in my youth. Back then I was only like a casual music fan, but I did hear this album and I did like it. It was like when I was around 12 or 13, I think. But it wasn't until I recently picked it up on vinyl that I really fell in love with this album. And it is Motorhead with Overkill. If you don't like this, just get lost and go and listen to your Lucas Graham or whatever the fuck you're into. Like, what do you mean you don't like this? My dad likes this stuff. Even my mom probably likes this. Like, I just imagine if she walked in when I was listening to this album, she was just like, yeah, there's some pretty good music you're listening to. Of course, she like knows who Motorhead is because my dad is like a big Motorhead fan. And that's how I originally found out about them back then. Like, even 12-year-old me, I wasn't even that into music back then. I liked it. It's just a heavy metal feeling that will just never go away. Dude, this is like easily the album in my collection that I play the most. I play it all the time. And it just socks are blown off every single time. Dude, I fucking love this album. Just every single song on this album is just goddamn masterpiece. I can't think of anything negative to say about it. It's played well, it's produced well, it sounds nice and rough and tough and dirty, not this polished sound, and it just fits the album, and it sounds so good for like, this was way back in like 79, and this was like, you know, at the forefront of like heavy music. So, I mean, it's just a miracle that it came out sounding so good. But it just does. There you go, the sun came back. Way, we can see now. If I had to pick a favorite song on this album, gun to my head, I would pick Limb from Limb. Simply because it closes out the album so well. Dude, I can't think of any better way to close out this album. It's like, you know, every single song is so great, and it's just like, how the hell can they top it all off? And Limb from Limb comes on, and it's just like, oh man. Dare I even say this is like my favorite album of all motherfucking time. It just is. This is my favorite album of all time. Motorhead Overkill. Go and listen to this, and no bullshit. And last but certainly not least, we've got Sepultura with Schizophrenia. So yeah, this is, well, I wouldn't say easily. It's my favorite Sepultura. I like the first four, all of them. Bangers. Morbid Visions is probably a close second, I would say. But like, that is, if you consider it the Bestial Devastation part of Morbid Visions. If it's just Morbid Visions, I would probably say Beneath the Remains is my second favorite. Schizophrenia is just the one I keep revisiting, and I mean, let's call it like it is. Like, as much charm as there is to Morbid Visions, this album's just got like stronger songs. Like, the songs on this album are just so stupid fucking good. The production is a bit divisive on this album, but like, when I really think about it, the only time it bothered me was only on the first listen. Like, I listened to it once, and the production was like really bothering me. And I was like, this album was not it. And like, a week passes, but like, all of a sudden, some of those songs were just like, some of the riffs and like some of the vocal patterns, they were like just starting to pop up in my head. And I was just like, wait, what? So I went back to this album, and it just all clicked for me, and I loved it ever since. So that's just a testament to how strong the songs are. They're just so good, man. From the Past Comes the Storms, To the Wall, Escape to the Void, Inquisition Symphony. Dude, that song is absolutely nuts. It's like a 7-minute instrumental, and it's got like, I don't know how many fucking riffs, and it's just like it's a symphony of riffs. It's just so glorious, man. And like, my only complaint with that song is that it isn't longer. Again, that's more of a compliment, especially when we're talking about instrumentals, because my complaint with them are usually, oh, it's too long, cut it down, you know. But not with that one. Dreams Behind the Shadows, Septic Schizo, dude, that song is absolutely primal. It's just so supremely heavy. And then we got a little bit of a little calm, like, acoustic instrumental. And it's like, if you don't care about it, then fine. But it's like below a minute, so it's like over and done with pretty quickly. But I really like it because I need that break, you know. I've been headbanging for my dear life for God knows how long. So I need that break before R.I.P. Rest in Pain, you know. And it's easily like the fastest song on the album. And it's just like, it's even faster and crazier than the rest of the album, and you just like, yeah, that's just the perfect way to close out the album. And then even the bonus track on this album is so good. Troops of Doom, off of Morbid Visions, but this is more of like a thrashy version of the cut, where on Morbid Visions is more haunting and, you know, first generation death metal, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, with the production thing, it's certainly like, the more I think about it, it adds to the music. It just gives the album like this unique sound, and it just makes it sound so much more evil. So this is the 1990 version of the album. The remastered one, I prefer the remastered. Got the lyric sheet and small pictures of the band. And what else do we have in here? I forget. Oh yeah, we have like a t-shirt insert from back in the day as well. So that's cool. I can get an obituary tee if I want to. Always just write them up, you know. And just for good measure, let me show you the vinyl. I mean, this one is not in the best condition. It's only like a VG. It has a lot of crackles and pops, especially on side 1. Especially like at the beginning of the Inquisition Symphony, it's really bad. But I don't mind it, you know. There's something, I know there's something cool about that in a way. Like, this album has like a history, and it's been played by someone else and loved and played over and over. I can see by like how many scratches this thing has and hairlines that he has just loved this album and played it over and over. He hasn't handled it particularly well, but you know, it's all good. Sepultura Schizophrenia, absolutely love this album. This is probably my favorite. Wait, this is the only thrash album I've got on this list, so it is my favorite thrash album of all time, I guess. Love it. Check it out. Anyway, that's all I'm gonna show you. I know the Mighty Priest didn't make an appearance on this list, but the only reason why was I could not narrow it down to which album. I mean, Sad Wings, Sin After Sin, Stained Class, possibly the greatest 3-album run of all motherfucking time. There was other ones, like of course I wanted to put in there. Repulsion Horrified was one of them. That almost made it in there. Have a good one, and goodbye.